Hi guys, and welcome to Trucking Along with Kirsty. That's me, your positive voice in trucking. And a little bit of a technical glitch this week, so I'm a day late with my posting. Sorry, but I'm gonna try to record a couple weeks in advance, so don't think that I'm actually in the places that I tell you when I tell you. Because I think the last video I was still sitting in Salt Lake City, and I already went from there to Idaho, then down to Texas, then to Florida, back to Texas, up to Missouri, and now I'm in Illinois, so I get around. Today I want to talk about recruiters. What are they looking for? How do you deal with them, and how do you trust them? How do you know what they're telling you is the truth? And understanding that what they said wasn't necessarily what you heard. We're going to talk about that when we come back. So, if you've been watching me, you know that I am an over-the-road reefer driver, a team trainer, and a published author, and also a moderator on TruckingTruth.com. I've written dozens of articles on that site, and one thing that I see pop up all the time is people blaming recruiters and basically doing what I consider to be harassment. You have to understand, recruiters make their money based on what? Based on bringing people in. So I don't know what these people are thinking when they will call a recruiter for 6 months and they keep asking questions, but if you're waiting that long, you're doing yourself a disservice. Number one, you're wasting that person's time, so they're taking you less seriously. You call up a recruiter, hi, I want to come to your company in 6 months, versus me who emailed my application on Saturday. Recruiter called me on like Monday and was like, when are you ready to come in? We processed you, and you know, and I was like, Monday. 1 week. There was no, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to organize. Get your crap together first. If you're planning on, you know, packing up your house or your apartment, or you need to pay bills, or you need to get things situated. One person was going through a divorce, and he was going to have to be back home for a divorce hearing during his training. Well, get your, you know, wait until everything's done before you even start trying to look for something, because all you're gonna do is get yourself banned. No lie, I know people that have replied to the same companies 2, 3, 4 times, and it gets to the point where the companies feel like all this person's doing is wasting their time, and they look indecisive, which you can't be as a truck driver. You need to be able to make decisions constantly, and you know, it looks like they don't have a commitment, which you need to have as a truck driver. So understand that when you deal with somebody in recruiting, they're working off a commission just like a car salesman. So imagine what happens if you go into a car lot and you go and spend time at the car lot, and the person's helping you and answering all your questions, and you're interrupting them from helping somebody who's ready to make a sale today. And then the next week you come back and you deal with that same person. And again, they're missing a sale because of you. They're taking their time with you. And people feel like, well, they owe me. They owe you nothing, okay? They owe you nothing. And a lot of the websites for these companies have the information online. Especially Prime. If you go to Prime's website, it explains everything to expect. It explains how many miles you have to do, how long it'll take, you know, exactly what you have to do before you come in, what your cents per mile is going to be, what kind of truck for the cents of miles. It talks about your paid training and how much money per week you make and the whole process. So if you're calling a recruiter and asking those same questions, what you're telling them is you didn't do your research, so you just want somebody to hand you something, which goes back to my other video about, you know, trying to improve your miles. People don't hand you miles. You have to work for them. You have to try to get places early. You have to try to get appointments moved up. You have to have a good relationship with your fleet manager. And, you know, that takes commitment, that takes dedication, but it takes ambition and initiative. So if you don't even have the initiative to go read their website that has everything down, why would they want you? Something else is that people have a misconception that all of these trucking companies are so desperate for drivers that they'll just take anybody. And that's not the truth. Hate to break it to you guys, but you're really, you know, you're being compared to everybody else. So I see all the time that people want to constantly make spreadsheets. Oh, I'm going to compare this company to that company. Well, that's great. And then what happens when your top 3 people on 3 companies on your spreadsheet don't take you? People, it's so weird. It's almost like they think trucking is like the military and they take anybody and they don't reject people. Newsflash, the military rejects people, and so does trucking. So do trucking companies. And they don't have to tell you why. And, you know, so, you know, what you have to do is you have to make sure that you have your DMV record in order. They don't want people that have any kind of accidents or traffic accidents, tickets, or anything like that for 3 years. And I hear a lot, well, it was just one ticket, one speeding ticket in the past 20. It doesn't matter. If it was last month or last year, it counts and it matters. It matters. The last 3 years matter. Because what you did 20 years ago, if you drove better 20 years ago than you did 6 months ago, guess what? Your judgment got worse. It's a judgment issue. So why would they want you with, you know, 17 miles per hour reckless driving when they could go get somebody like me that didn't have that? Another issue is felonies or drug tests that you failed in the past. A lot of people wind up questioning this kind of thing because they're like, oh, well, it was a long time ago and I was young and stupid. Okay. Trying to sell a bunch of drugs looks bad. And we are in a transportation industry where we cart drugs across country borders, state borders. You know, they don't want people like that. And you can't just assume that because they have an add up that they're willing to take everybody. It doesn't happen. What they want is safe, reliable, conscientious drivers with good judgment and good decision abilities, and people that are flexible. You know, people will tell me, well, I don't want to drive the Northeast, I don't want to drive New York City, I'm not going to drive weekends, I want to be home every weekend, or I want to be home every other weekend, and my dispatcher's going to have to do this and this and this and this, and that's what I want, and I just got my CDL. Okay. Good luck with that. That's my new slogan. Eventually, I'm going to have like coffee cups and t-shirts and stuff that say, trucking along with Kiersey, good luck with that. Because, you know, get over yourself. Really. There are better candidates out here than you. So make it a competition and make it so that they want you rather than they want to get rid of you because you're already annoying because you're calling them 10 times a day. You got to understand, recruiters are dealing with hundreds of people. So you call them at 9 o'clock in the morning and they didn't return your call by noon. Oh, well, you know, they're busy. Shoot them an email or something, but make a list of questions and email it to them and see what happens. It's easier rather than calling them up, you know, 5 times in a week. I know people that deal with recruiters for 6 months. That's insane. And it's a waste of their time. And guess what? You could get banned. The more you wind up applying to these companies and you're not serious, they will put you on a ban list. Don't lie. It's worse when you lie. because they will catch you and they will send you home when you lie on your application. So be upfront about it as much as you can. And something else that I think that people just don't understand, recruiters really can't make you promises. They can't promise you that your medication is going to be approved. They're not doctors. They can give you a, yeah, maybe. They may be able to make an educated guess based on other clients, other drivers, but they're not doctors, okay? They're not going to be able to promise you a particular truck. I know somebody who called up a recruiter and said, well, I'll come work for you if you can give me a brand new Volvo. Okay, good luck with that. You know, they're not going to be able to do that. You know, it's sort of like, think about the government has all these different branches of the government. You're dealing with one branch over here, and you think that the people on the other side they're going to be able to help you. No, it's not like that. This side gets you in, then the next department winds up processing you with your training and everything, and then you go and get your own truck. So you're talking, weeks to months ahead. You want somebody to promise you what's going to happen in 2 or 3 months? And that goes true for like company policies. Company policies change all the time. Hiring areas change all the time. So if you've been talking to that recruiter since January and now it's July and all of a sudden they don't hire from your area anymore, you just wasted all your time and theirs. They're not going to change for you. And I know people say, oh, well, I'll sue, that's discrimination. Yep. The entire hiring process is discrimination. That's the point of going to job interviews. That's the point in researching candidates, is to discriminate. You want to take everybody else away, get rid of everybody else, and only leave the good candidates. Something else that I hear a lot of people discussing are drug tests. They'll lie to the recruiters, and this goes back to what I was saying about don't lie. They're gonna find it, and now they have a new database being set up where the companies are going to report failed drug tests. So if you worked at Werner, or you worked at Swift, or whatever, name the company, and now you failed the drug test, so you got fired, that's going on your DAC anyway. But even if for whatever reason, you just had a random drug test, or you went to Rail and you took their test, but you weren't actually hired yet, that doesn't mean that they won't put that down in a database somewhere. So if you tried to go to Swift or Prime or Wheel-Trans or wherever, that they wouldn't see it, because it's quite possible. And then you look worse, because now you look like a liar. If you just had a failed drug test, they could probably put you through a SAT program, and you might have to go through counseling and stuff, and you might be really limited to the number of companies that would want you. But it looks a lot worse if you lie about it. So those are my thoughts on recruiting. Do your research on companies before you even talk to a recruiter. And it's probably better to do communications through emails rather than phones. People don't realize how incredibly busy these recruiters are. So people want a connection, and I get that, but if you seriously think about it before you call your recruiter, make a list of all the questions you have, write everything down, put it in an email, so that when they have time, they can just answer all of your questions in one shot. That way you're not getting distracted, which I have another video on distractions, driving with distractions, and how to avoid them. But this way you're not getting distracted by the phone conversation, and then you don't get all of your points and questions addressed. And understand that that person is investing time in you because they're going to get paid when you come in. So if you're really not planning on going someplace, it's kind of cruel and almost immoral to waste their time. I mean, I know people that are just like, well, I wanted to see if I would qualify. Yeah, guess what? Today you qualify. In 6 months or 3 months, when you hit something or you get a speeding ticket or, you know, something happens and you did something stupid and you got arrested for something, guess what? Now you're not qualified anymore. Things happen very quickly. So today you might be qualified, next month you might not be. They don't have to tell you why. I also know people that were sent home for not prime material. What does that mean? That means people who were rude, people who were swearing, using a lot of profanity in the halls and stuff, people who were aggressive, people who, when trainers or instructors asked them questions, they would start screaming and yelling, or they'd get frustrated and throw things. I saw a guy take a chair and throw it up against the wall because he got mad that Prime found out about his DUI that he thought was expunged. He threw it up against the wall. Guess what? Security was called and that guy was taken right off of Prime property. These are the kinds of, you know, things that happen, and you have to try to be the best you can and get all of your documentation and everything in ahead of time. Have everything with you. You need your birth certificate and your W-2s. People get upset about work history. Well, they need to know that you have commitment and you're going to stick around. Why waste their money and time on training somebody that's just going to quit and give up? They want people that don't quit. So if you have, you know, 12 jobs in the past year and a half, why would they take you over somebody like me that was at the same company for 15 years? So you have to realize this is a competition, and they want a specific type of person to come drive these trucks. These are 80,000 pound killing machines that are basically deadly missiles going down the highway, going down slopes. They can kill. It's $350,000 minimum for a truck rollover, and God forbid you kill somebody or you slam into something else. You know, you're talking the truck, the freight, the cleanup. You know, they have to pay all the emergency services and everything for the cleanup, the tows, rolling it over, winches, storage, you know, and that's if you don't hit anybody, if you didn't hurt anybody. You know, when you're talking injuries, you're looking at millions and millions of dollars and legal fees and everything else. Why would they want to entrust you? Before you talk to a recruiter, really think hard about that. If you have felonies or drug issues or, you know, poor work history, why would they want you? And if you can sit here and honestly say that you're a good employee and that you try, and, you know, maybe if you do have something in your history, you can ask them, hey, what's the minimum? Like Prime, it's 10 years since the conviction, the ending of the conviction of a felony. So each company is going to have different policies. You know, you can do all these spreadsheets. That doesn't mean the company that you decided on is going to want you. So understand, recruiters are people too. And they do want to make money, and they do want people to be happy, and, you know, because people are under this misconception too that once you get into this company, oh, I'm going to call my recruiter about this, I'm going to call my... It's not their problem anymore. You're already hired. You know, you don't like your trainer, it's not your recruiter's problem. You know, that's like you living in New Jersey, but you're going to complain to a congressman in California about some law that happened in New Jersey. They don't care. So, and I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just saying, when you have problems, you also have to know who you have to report to get those problems solved. And if you're going to the wrong people, you're wasting time again. And you're showing poor judgment because you're not bothering to actually ask anybody who you need to talk to. Which goes back to maybe why they wouldn't have wanted you to begin with. I don't know. that's my rant for today. I hope that gives you a little bit of insight into what trucking companies are looking for and how to deal with recruiters. And, you know, hopefully you'll stop stressing over trying to find the perfect company, because you're only going to know what you know when you come out here, what you learn at that first company. You're not going to know the difference between a quote-unquote good company and a bad company. You know, I know. I know, because after being here at Prime for 4 years, I hear friends that from all different companies tell me about things that are going on in their companies and how their company policies and things like that. And I have to sit back here and go, I am never leaving Prime. Never leaving Prime. And that really has to do with the fact that I learned a specific way and I don't know anything else. So if I went to a different company, which goes back to these people that are like, oh, well, I'm just going to stay at a company and I'll leave. You wind up, every company has good and bad. So if you go from one company to another, you're going to constantly judge that company against another. And that's almost not fair to the company either. I have a friend who, he left Prime, then he went to night, had some issues at night. He wasn't getting miles, the equipment was faulty. Their facilities are much different than Prime's. Prime, we have 24-hour maintenance and 24-hour washouts and truck washes, and it's automated. And then we have a guy that comes out and will you know, finish washing the trailer and the truck and all that. And at night, they basically had a garden hose where you had to climb up into your own trailer or wash your own truck. And at Prime, we drive through these beautiful in bays and they inspect our trucks and our trailers, and you know, they'll alert us that things that are going on, and they'll check out the reefer and do maintenance on our reefer units to make sure everything's okay, and check the tires and the brakes on the trailers. And you know, if they find anything with the trailer or the truck, they insist that you put it in the shop. And our shops are 24/7, so as a company driver, I get worked in no matter what. I don't have to wait days, like what happened with my friend at night. You know, then he wasn't happy there, so he went to rail, and there was certain things that wound up happening at rail, and he lasted one day and said, that's it, I gotta come back to Prime. So, but that's because he started at Prime and he was really judging the other companies based on what he already learned, what he was already used to. So is that to say that Prime at night and rail are bad companies? No. It just means that he was used to certain services and facilities and policies that they don't have. They operate differently. So if you're going to go bouncing from company to company, you have to be flexible. Alright, that really is the end of my rant for today. So, stick with me. Please like, subscribe, comment below if you were one of those people. I know a lot of people that they worked for 6 months trying to research companies, and then they stayed for the that company for 2 or 3 months, and that was it, and they bounced someplace else, either because of family situations, or you know, family emergencies, or you know, they didn't like the routes or the areas or whatever. So let me know. Or they just got fired. That happens too. So comment down below what you thought at your recruiter, and I hope to see you out here trucking along. Bye.